This computer. All right, so welcome everyone. This is how to enroll more clients into your signature offer. My name is DeKesha Williams, and I am excited to be here with you all on this 2-day training. So I'm going to say that we're probably going to be together for about maybe 60 minutes. I'm not going to rush through it. But I'm thinking we might be together for about 60 minutes. Is that all right with you guys? About 60 minutes or so? All right, and whatever questions that you have, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat if you like. If you want to come off on mute and let's have a conversation, because I'm telling y'all, we're getting ready to get down into some of the nitty gritty. And I know that there are going to be some questions that you all have because we always talk about systems and automations and lead generation and clients and how to do all these things, right? So I already have an idea of what questions are going to come up, but I am going to do my very, 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 very best to answer them for you. If that's okay with you, you can type yes in the chat. If that's okay with you, you can come off mute and be like, yes, DeKesha is okay with me. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. We good? All right. I see a yes, yes, yes. So I'm ready to roll. All right. So let's get this party moving. So who am I? What makes you want to log in and watch this young lady's training? Let me tell you a little bit about me, because tonight it's about you. It is not about me. I am a 2023 EPSI Award winner, which is Excellence in Speaking, Professional Speaking. I was voted Best Business Consultant by the Small Business Expo Women Add Value Recognition Award by I Change Nations. I've generated over 100 plus. Y'all see that plus sign? It's the plus sign for me. Over 100,000 plus in revenue since 2019 without ads. Last year, we were awarded the six-figure award from our mastermind community, TSP. But of course, my black background is blurred out. So I might have to put a slide in with my picture of my six-figure award, y'all. But anyway, I have built four, y'all count them, four revenue generated brands, including Visions Consulting, your outsourcing club. We just recently launched Vision Publishing. Even though I have written 5 books, I decided to go ahead and make it official since my business bestie will not publish any books for me. She taught me how to publish. She's like, no, you can do them yourself. Fine, whatever, we'll do them, right? So that was business number 4. I've been featured in Connect Women magazines, Richmond Times Dispatch, the Network Journal, and several other published articles. So if you see me looking to the right, I've got 2 to 3 screens and an iPad over here. So y'all just bear with me. I haven't memorized it, by I haven't memorized my talk, okay? So, what does a webinar strategist allow me to do? It has allowed me for the last 15 years to be present and available for my children. So funny. This picture was probably from 2019, y'all. But I love it. I love this picture. Because this is what they look like now. Oh my gosh, right? So this is my daughter. Now this is about that was 4 years ago, because you see the date up in the top. So this is when she won the Eagle Award. She was the Eagle of the Year. So the Eagle is like their conference for gymnastics. You got SEC and all these conferences. So they were in the Eagle Conference. She was the Eagle of the Year. Of course, super proud mom, right? Didn't miss it. Try my best not to miss any meets. And so this was the year they actually won the Eagles championship. So they won their conference. She went on to compete in regionals. As you can see, I am a proud Aggie mom. Can I get an Aggie pride? Okay. So this is the baby boy. Even though he's bigger than both of us, he towers over both of us. This was his freshman year. He is a rising junior, y'all. I have to slow down and just say that. He is a rising junior. And the reason why I have to slow down and say that, because when I started out on this journey, they were 5 and 11. Y'all look at them. They're 20 and 26 now. 20 and 26. 6. So super excited to have been able to be able to support them and continue to support them. And if you can relate to building a business that you desire and deserve, just drop a 1 in the chat. Usually I attract individuals who want to build a business that they desire and they deserve. Most of my clients are women who have children, who are looking to leave legacy, who are looking to build something for their children, even if their children don't want to be in the business, like my daughter. Like she wanted to be a corporate baddie, y'all, until they start doing riffs. Y'all know what a riff is, right? Until they start doing like 6 or 7 riffs in 1 year. She was like, all right, mom, I need some extra income. I need some side money. So we decided that she would take over the publishing company. But it did not start out like that. People look at you, look at where you are now. They think that you woke up and you opened your business, you opened the doors, and business started out like this. I'm here to tell you that it did not. When I started on this journey in 2011, I went on leave of absence August 24th, 2011. I'm still on leave of absence. Y'all can type in the chat hashtag longest leave ever. I went to go back and they had ceased operation. So I really had nowhere to go back to. And this is back when YouTube was a thing and Google Hangouts was a thing. So the moment where everything shifted for me is when I was tapped on the shoulder to do training. So you guys may have seen the webinar queen. Like when I get on Zoom, it says webinar queen. If you Google the webinar queen, my blog, my LinkedIn, everything is going. You're gonna find DeKesha. If you Google the webinar queen, you will find DeKesha because that's how it really started. And so they tapped me on the shoulder. We used to hang out on Google Hangouts till midnight. And they were like, why don't you come teach our clients? These clients were paying $15,000, $20,000 to spend 3 days for a makeover. And they said, why don't you teach them how to build 6-figure businesses using webinars? And I was like, sure. But once I started teaching, I was like, but I'm not making 6 figures. Am I qualified? Oh, y'all write that word down because that word normally comes up. Am I qualified to teach them how to make 6 figures in their business if I'm not making 6 figures, right? So here's what happened. They challenged us. They were like, well, why don't you go out and do 8 webinars? What? Do 8 webinars in 30 days. And we was like, bet. Say less. Let's do it. And that's exactly what we did. We went out, we did 8 webinars, the exact same presentation. A lot of you have probably heard about Russell Brunson. I have his trilogy. I have all of his books. I have studied his model. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you want to be the greatest, right? You study. And so Russell says if you do the same webinar 52 times, you should make, is it $1 million in your business? I believe it's $1 million in business if you do that same webinar. And a lot of people like to go and change the webinar, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's what I did. I did the 8 webinars, 30 days. We did them like on a Sunday, a Tuesday, a Monday, a Wednesday. And we were testing. I didn't know this then, so I'm going to be real transparent. I didn't know this then. We were testing out what days work better for webinars. I didn't realize I was testing while I was actually implementing and being challenged. So, long story short, I made $15,000 in commission. Somebody type commission. I made $15,000 in commission. Now, to somebody, that might be great. When I sit back 9 years later, I'm like, wait, that means I had to give up 40% of that 15. That 15,000 was 40% of what I actually made. So what if I actually kept 100%? And that's how this journey for me actually worked. So we did 15,000 in 21 days, both myself and my colleague. Usually when I tell the story, my colleague is sometimes in the training. So I didn't even realize, or I forgot because it's been so long, that she made $15,000 in commission too. I was like, oh, we was getting it. Now, mind you, we were broke, busted, and disgusted. And I am not ashamed to tell you. But that's when it all clicked, it all registered. And I started the webinar challenge. And I keep this slide because this is the actual website that I use. So you know how they say, you come from humble beginnings. This actually keeps me humble because I know where I came from. This is back when it used to be WordPress, y'all. When my website was on WordPress, right? And so we did a webinar challenge. It was a 5-day challenge. On the final day of the challenge, people would register for the webinar. They would show up to the webinar, and then I would make an offer. And so in 2018, I joined a program. I got my like one of it wasn't even my first coach. I'll be honest with you. I had my very first coach was 2012. So by 2018, I don't know which number I was on. I don't know which coach. Okay. But I joined a coaching program and I learned how to launch. And so with our very first launch, with an audience of probably less than 100 people, I may have had 80 people that were in the challenge that registered. And again, you got to remember, I didn't use ads. We generated $10,000. One launch. Y'all, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, let me say that again. You couldn't tell me nothing. I made $10,000 on one lunch in 2018, and I had just started my business. Woo! And I'm gonna tell you, it's funny. I remember my auntie and I were at a concert. I don't know if it was the Temptations or whatever. They was doing some like Friday night, in the park, and so I literally had less than $20 in my bank account, so I couldn't afford to buy us wine. Like they had wine, you can get a ticket. Like I couldn't even afford to get a ticket. But the way that the automations was set up, it was a Friday evening, so the cart was closing that night. And if you know anything about PayPal and notification of payment received, this was before I had order forms. So I used to use PayPal buttons, and so when my cart closed when we were at the concert, and so payments started to come in, and I was like, wait a minute. I said, Auntie, do you want some wine? Baby, let me tell you, okay? And so I always have that fond memory of my very first launch. So with that being said, that was when we realized, oh, wait a minute, this actually works. Hang on 1 second. I don't want to. You guys can still see me, right? Because somebody is actually saying that they can't get in. I want to make sure you see me and not my screen. So give me just a second. Let me give them the link. Um, I'm confused. Here is the link for the free. Oops. I don't know what that was. Okay. All right. So anyway, like I said, I had the opportunity. I was able to buy Auntie some wine, but I realized in that moment that that method actually worked. So we put it on rinse and repeat. Okay. So rinse and repeat. So within like maybe 90 days, we were doing it again. I did the same webinar challenge. I did the 5-day challenge, the webinar at the end. And then this time we generated $24,000. Now I'm not going to tell you a lie, but I was a little disappointed because I didn't hit $1,000, Robin. Like I didn't hit $25,000, because back when I first started in entrepreneurship, they always used to tell you $8,333 a month equals $100,000 a year, or 20 is 4 quarters in a year. So $25,000 a quarter, you're going to make $100,000. So I knew when we did $24,000, I just knew we were not going to hit $100,000. But can somebody say, appreciate the little steps? Like you got to appreciate starting somewhere, okay? And so that's I'm getting better. I'm getting better at, celebrating the small wins. All right. I want everybody to take that in. Yes, we have to celebrate the small wins and the little steps. But by this time, I was like, I think I have the process down. And so I layered it in February 2019. I layered my launch with a speaking opportunity. And so I was able to do a speaking opportunity in Northern Virginia at the Black CEO 2019. And we made $35,000 off of that one launch. So now I'm like, all right, so every time we do this, we making more money. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down. So in 7 months, you do the math. We were able to generate over $69,000 in 7 months. $69,000 in 7 months. And that's really what I'm here to talk with you, because one program will change your life if you let it. One program. You don't need 6 or 7 different offers. You heard it here. I know some people is like, well, I got this offer and this offer and this offer, and then I think I got this one over here and this one. One program. You can say it with me, or you can stay on mute and say it with me. One program will change your life if you let it. So that's what we're here to talk about. So we're going to keep going. The GPS, if you do me a favor, if you're just joining in, type in the chat where you are tuning in from and tell us about your business. So tell me what you do. What type of business do you have? So for those of you all that are on this journey that have a lot of questions about how to have, 10K launches, $69,000 in 7 months, $100,000 in 6 months, $100,000 in 1 month, right? You have to have a GPS for your business. So what do you mean, DeKesha? So let me tell you something. When I get in the car and I drive to Greensboro, North Carolina, I know exactly where I'm going. But what happens if there's a detour? I know my destination, but what happens if there's a detour? So on this journey of entrepreneurship, you know the destination that you want to achieve. Some of that may be a financial destination, and some of it may be a freedom destination. Everybody is not necessarily chasing a financial goal, okay? Some of us are just looking for flexibility. Some people are just looking for freedom. For example, I'll tell you just a little bit about my background. In 2020, at the end of 2022, my mom fell ill. So 22, and I can't believe it's almost 4 years ago. Okay. So December 22, her motor skills just like declined after about 6 months. So April 22, she said she fell outside. We still to this day don't know, but she said she fell outside. Six months later, about October, I bought her a walker from Amazon. Now, mind you, her motor skills are declining. By December, she's literally not even able to move at this point. About 6 to 8 months later, we ended up finding one of the top brain surgeons in the Richmond, Virginia area. She was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, which is fluid on the brain, which causes gait. Gait makes your feet do like this, and it's almost like they're stuck to the floor and you cannot move. So praise be to God. Fast forward 3 surgeries later. We're not going to even go to all of that. She didn't had 3 invasive surgeries in the last 4 years. In the middle of my conference in 2023, she had her very first brain surgery. They put a ventricular shunt in her head, goes down to her tummy. And I was literally doing a conference, and they were calling me like, "Hey, we get ready to transport your mom upstairs." So my OGs, who were at the actual event with me, kind of know this process that I've been on this journey. But I tell you this to say that there's going to be adjustments, there's going to be detours in your life, but the systems is what kept me going while I was being 100% caregiver to my mom. Woo! Sit right there for a second, because I know that there is an audience of entrepreneurs that are in the same position. We are what they call the sandwich generation, where we're taking care of kids, but we're taking care of parents, and vice versa. So my heart goes out to caregivers. I have a special place because you know what? I've been there. And it's very hard to juggle both. All right. So we know we have a destination. Now it's time to figure out what's the strategy that we're going to use in order to get to where we want to be. And so that's what I want to walk you through different strategies that you can use, but I also like to tell you why they work. One of the things that I notice is that when people invest money into different programs or different coaches, and they tell you what to do, but they don't tell you why it works. So what happens if they don't tell you why it works? You go out here and you start changing stuff, and you start changing stuff on the landing page. You go out here and start changing stuff in the email sequence, and that is not what I told you to do. So I like to make sure that I tell you the strategy, but I also give you the backstory behind it so that you have understanding. So we have Robin's from Baltimore. Like I think I told you, we were in the DMV area not too long ago. Coaching, consulting for working moms, a woman wellness provider and coach. Love it, love it, love it. Um, and then we talked a little bit about how do we make the mindset shifts or the detours of that, because life is going to life. And I tell my children all the time, live long enough, buddy. And life is going to life. Okay. And then we got a teen life coach and test prep coach as well. So when you don't have a plan, you have a tendency to get lost. So for those of you all that have shared what your business is, how many of you actually, you can type in the chat, how many of you actually have a signature offer? So if you have a signature offer that you sell, I want you to type yes in the chat. And if you don't, just say working on it, and that's fine. And the reason why we do this is because I want you to start getting familiar with how many units you need to sell in order to make the revenue goal. I know I had a conversation earlier today, and she was like, oh, I need 50 something units by the end of the year. What would that generate in revenue for you? So what is the price point of your signature offer? So if you have a 10K offer, all you need is 3 sales to generate $30,000 in your business. If you have a $3,000 offer, you would need 10 sales in order to generate $30,000 in your business. Now, it all depends on what your revenue goal is. So I do want you to take a minute to determine how many units do you have to sell in order to hit the revenue goal. If you feel that this is a safe space, then go ahead and share your revenue goal as well. It helps me better understand where you are. If you don't, it's okay. We're still going to figure it out at some point in time, because we're going to talk about price points and different strategies anyway. So when you think about, okay, what your revenue goals is, and how many units, and if you haven't written down the units, I want you to take a sticky. I keep sticky notes. I don't know about y'all. So I keep these on my desk. All right. I love some stickies. So I have some smaller ones as well. So I want you to write down the amount of your signature offer and how many units, put it on a sticky and put it up. Like, you need to see it every single day. I want you to be able to, so that you can see what you're working towards every single day. So the 3 biggest revenue killers, listen up. These are the 3 things that will kill your revenue every single month. Underpricing. I see it all the time. And I hear, well, I don't want to charge because I'm just getting started. What? 9 times out of 10, you have the skill set and you've acquired the skill set from somewhere. You are an expert by right. So, for an example, I'm just going to say 30 plus years, okay, in the retail industry. I started when I was 16. I started at Paramount's Kings Dominion off 95 in the Doswell, Virginia area. I was a assistant manager in one of the little stores at the front of the park. So I've been in leadership development since the age of 16. I've managed people since the age of 16. So to walk into this online space and be able to jump into leadership and organizational development and operations, it was like second nature to me. I've been running somebody else's business since I was 16. I've ran $2 million business, $5 million business, like $1 million businesses at a very, very young age. So to be able to understand operations was second nature. So coming into this space and charging the price that I knew that I was worth, baby, I got a resume to back it up. And I'm pretty confident, I've had a conversation with most of you. You have a resume to back it up too. So we got 1497. And then the other thing that kills the revenue is that you don't have any leads. Oops. I'm not here to step on toes. I'm just here to tell the truth. It's on the slide. I ain't basing it off of no conversations that I had today. It's on the slide. But it's on the slide. That means that I know what I'm talking about, right? Right? Because I've been doing this long enough. So you're not making any sales because no one knows you exist. No one's knocking on your door. We need to have lead generation. We need to have leads. We need to have people that know that we exist so that we can have someone to sell to. Anybody feel that? Yes or yes? And then the last one, this one gets it every time. This one gets it every time. I don't call names, and that's why I don't look straight at the camera because sometimes people be thinking I be talking to them. The lack of systems. The lack of systems. And I shared an article that I wrote on LinkedIn that shared the top 5 systems every business owner should have. And one of them we've already talked about is your lead generation system. The other one is the nurturing, like the email marketing system. They become super important. Then you have the client enrollment system, which is what we're going to talk about here this afternoon. And then delivery and fulfillment. So once you get a client, do you have systems and automations? And we'll talk about this. Do you have system and automation set up in your business? For an example, we had a client that enrolled. It was perfect timing. Client enrolled on Friday. I'm pulling up in the driveway coming from the gym. I think I'm coming from the gym. Get a notification that we have a new member. All the automations went out. Client welcome email, client expectation, and next steps all happen automation. I never had to do anything. I didn't have to run into the house and be like, oh my goodness, somebody signed up for something. Let me go and send them an email. Nope. I sat right in the driveway. And so, look at that. And by the time I got myself situated, what did I do? I picked up the phone to call and to welcome. That was the only manual thing that had to be done. That is a part of your delivery and fulfillment system. If you don't get anything else I'm teaching you today, that is one of the biggest revenue killers. All right. And the last one is your money systems, the money and metric systems. And I'm really big, again, y'all. I'm trying to tell you my background so y'all can understand why I work the way I work. I'm really big on KPIs. I'm big on lead generation. How many leads did we generate this week? How many conversations that we have this week? How many appointments that we have this week? If you're not having these CEO level conversations, that tells me all I need. This is why we're struggling in our business, because we don't know what to track in our business to even understand what to change or impact. So write this down. What gets measured gets managed. What gets measured gets managed. All right. So the complete client enrollment system is all about attract, educate, invite, and then enroll. So what is attract? Attract is the content marketing. You can do ads that bring your ideal clients to your registration page. Webinars, workshops. We'll talk a little bit about some of the different ones. You don't necessarily have to do a webinar. I'll tell you when the webinar becomes relevant. All right, so educate. I like to make sure that my audience educates their ideal client as to why they need your services. If you are a teen life coach and test prep coach, you should be educating your audience on why they need your services. Okay? And then I want you to invite them to a conversion mechanism. That's what we're going to call it for the rest of the evening. A conversion mechanism. You need to be looking at how many conversion methods do I have every single week, every single month, every single quarter. This is a strategic offer presentation with a clear call to action. Write that down. A strategic offer presentation with clear call to action. That clear call to action should be an enrollment. That clear call to action should have them actually an invitation to enroll into the signature program that you have already created. All right. So here's the recipe for a $30,000 month if that's what you choose to have. Some people want 10,000, some people want 20,000, and some people are looking to grow from five or seven to $30,000 or beyond. But there's a couple of things that need to be in place before you can get to that point. All right. So the first thing that you're going to need is the right ingredients. You need the right offer for your audience. It needs to be priced at the right price point. You need to make sure that it's in front of the right audience. So your ideal client, it needs to be in front of the person that has the problem that you solve. For an example, I see teens. I see college students or high school students. Sorry. I see women. What type of women? Any type of women? Corporate women. I do see working moms. So we have to make sure that our messaging speaks directly to the ideal client that we have. And if you skip one of those steps, you will feel your launch or your strategy kind of, I don't know what's the word, that it'll waver. Like you'll feel that something is off. Let me give you a perfect example. Last year, every month for 9 months, we did a 2-day workshop very similar to this. We did a 2-day workshop every month. And in April of 2025, last year, we increased the price point for the offer. No one enrolled. No one. Zero. I remember being in retail and hated calling my regional manager and be like, we had a donut day. We've been open since 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you couldn't sell a sweater, a scarf, a belt, donut. And that's what we had in the month of April last year. And so I had a call with my coach, and the price point that we had, I felt that, oh, well, we need to increase it. But I didn't realize that my audience, the price point that we had it set at was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer for my audience. And he was like, take it back down. I was like, really? Take it back down. Say less, coach. And that's exactly what we did. I could have stopped. I could have given up. I could have been like, you know what? This is not working. Because there's plenty of people out here that have a webinar. They'll have nobody show up. They'll do it one time. They say nobody registered. And they be like, oh, it didn't work. So I know I could have given up. But I didn't. We pivot. We optimize. We did everything over again. The only thing we changed was the price. And we had the highest month in May. Let me say that again. For the people in the back. Who the volume might have lost for a second. My internet might have cut off for a second. We turned around and had the absolute best month that we had ever had so far that year because I didn't give up. And I tell my mastermind clients when they came in, some of you guys wouldn't have been here in this program had I given up because you all came in the month that we relaunched. Come on, amen. And I'm going to tell you even one better. We had a couple of people that paid in full. Whew. Now think about it. I dropped the price because the price was a no-brainer and then had multiple people actually pay in full. So that tells you that you got to have the right offer. It's got to be priced right for your audience, positioned in front of your audience at the right time. And that's not to take away from the fact that you're going to have some people that are on your list for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. We're going to talk about that. But the reason why they're on your list and they haven't purchased because they're not ready. They haven't told you no. Either A, you haven't put the right offer in front of them, or they are not in enough pain. So I want you to keep that in mind. There's 2 types of models when it comes to the price point. Nothing is wrong with either one, but I need you to understand the relevance of them because McDonald's has a very great system in place. If you walk into any McDonald's in the US of the A, they're going to be producing, right, the outcome systematically. So it's not about the operation, it's about the price point. They target a lower ticket. So they are targeting a lower audience. So they're coming in, they get more people spending less money. They make millions and millions of dollars. Now you got Ruth Chris which is a steakhouse here in the Virginia area. McCormick Schmidt's, whatever that steakhouse is that you may have. Higher ticket, lower volume. Now, don't get it wrong. On a Saturday night, they might have high volume, but y'all get what I'm saying. They have a higher price point, a different audience. You are not going to see the same person walk into McDonald's and walk into Ruth Chris on the same night. The chances of that happening is very, very low. So you have to ask yourself, which model do you want? Do you want a low volume, which is fine? You just have to have a low ticket. I'm sorry. You have to have a lot of people coming in. And if you're already struggling to get leads, do you really want to make your business depend on having to get 1,000 people registered for a $47 product? It's probably not the highest and best use of your time if you're looking to build a sustainable six-figure or multiple six-figure business at this point in time. You might want a $5,000 offer. You might want a $2,000 offer, a $10,000 offer where you can get them into your ecosystem and then create an ascension model. So what is an ascension model, you say? So here's the ecosystem that I have been building since 2018. 15, 16. Yeah, 16, 17. So what happened is, and again, this dates back to the old ecosystem. You can take a screenshot if you like, or take a picture. So at the beginning of the ecosystem is your lead magnet. That is how you get people that have the problem that you solve. You might give them a free training or something like that, and you get them on your email list. Some people like to do a tripwire if they're running ads to the lead magnet so that they can offset the ad costs. So our tripwire, we had it for $27 or $47. And then on the back end, there's a sequence. Remember that email, that system that I talked about, that email and that nurturing? This is where that comes into play, okay? So on the back end side of someone who opts in for a lead magnet, you can invite them to a webinar that you're doing because they've already raised their hand to say, oh, I have this problem, no matter what your lead magnet is. You also can give away a lead magnet when you are at speaking engagements, which will then take them through this ecosystem as well. And so if you're doing a webinar, depending on the price point of the webinar, you can invite them to have a conversation with you, or you can invite them to buy what we call a signature program, but this is back when the signature program was your course. So if you have a course and you need an entry level, $497, $597. We still have a $597 entry course. We sell it from our podcast. That's a nugget. That's a nugget. Write it down. That's not a part of the training. I'm just letting you know. So when people listen to our podcast, that's one of the ways that we get people into an entry level. So we'll tell them to go watch a training. It's an automated webinar, and on the back end side is a entry level program. So that's just another way that we do lead generation. Somebody, come on, y'all, pick it up what I'm putting down. Y'all get the special training. And so what happens, and this actually happened recently. So June of last year, I was at the mastermind the mastermind, the event was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Wednesday is mastermind day. So Wednesday, I flew down like Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday night, got there in Atlanta on Wednesday. So we are by poolside. True story. We're poolside. Probably at this point, probably had some type of cocktail in our hand. And I had did a webinar on Monday and it converted a client. So I said, well, once the webinar converts, I'm going to automate it. So what did I do on Wednesday night? I ran traffic to that automated webinar while I was sitting by the pool having a cocktail. And we ended up getting new clients coming through that $597 program. And so after nurturing, I followed up with the client and ended up upselling her into a product that was $14.97 where her and I worked together. And then again, upselling into coaching. So that's a whole ecosystem by itself. And it's not hard work. I literally I drove traffic to an automated webinar, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna let you do an automated webinar until it converts. So you keep doing your webinar, your workshops until you actually convert people from it. All right. Don't come over here and talk about DeKesha said I can automate my webinar while I'm at the pool and I can get people into my office. It's not what I said. I said you have to do your webinars live until you convert them. But what happens is now you see who's interested in your ecosystem that's willing to invest in learning. They're willing to invest in solving their problem. So you have some people that have no problem with trying to accomplish it on their own, which is fine. You got a lot of people that love YouTube learning. You got a lot of people that'll buy a course, to teach themselves. That's fine. But depending on what they're learning, they're not able to do everything alone. So they're going to need your guidance. All right. And so I like to start in that mid tier. So the $597 is going to be a down sale. I like to start in the mid tier to help them solve a bigger problem that they're having. And then as you can see back then, our group coaching was $3,000. We had one-on-one coaching. If they came into our group coaching, they will get a ticket to our live events. We haven't had one since 2023, but we got one coming. It's on the way. So I'll tell you more about that as well. And so this is just the ecosystem of how you can keep clients in your ascension. So the best client is a current client. So what can you offer them once you've solved the initial problem? Any questions about the ecosystem? Is this making sense? Y'all give me a thumbs up and I'm going to keep going. All right, let's roll. All right, so we talked about the McDonald's. Okay, I see the thumbs up. We talked about the McDonald's. We talked about Ruth Chris, Netflix versus Blockbuster. Who want Netflix money? Oh, you want Blockbuster money? I don't know about y'all. Give me Netflix all day long. We call it recurring revenue. We call that recurring revenue. Or if you use Stripe, it's called MRR. And that's one of the things that I track in my Stripe. I keep my Stripe up every day. I don't know about y'all, but I keep it up every day. And that's one of the numbers that I have on my dashboard. On my dashboard, it tells me what my MRR is. So what that means is that if DeKesha does not do any more conversion events, that's what we said we're going to call them for the rest of the day. If DeKesha doesn't do any more conversion events, she's still going to make this amount of money by the end of the end of the month, end of the 30 days. And so, of course, in order to get to 100,000, what did I say? $8,333. You should have an MRR of 8333 in order to generate $100,000 a year. And what this does is it creates a level where you don't have to hustle in your business. I don't believe in hustle mentality. My light goes off at night. When I started on this journey, they used to say an entrepreneur's light don't go off. Mine do. And even if it don't, I'm going to be asleep. I'm going to be asleep with the light on. And so I don't believe in MRR is monthly recurring revenue. Great question. Monthly recurring revenue. I don't believe in the hustle mentality. I am getting older. I am not a spring chicken, as my grandma would say. So, I mean, sometimes you're welcome. Sometimes I work late nights. Sometimes I work early mornings, but I do it when I want to, not because I have to. There's a big difference. And so with Blockbuster, we know that Blockbuster, you get the video, you go in, you pay a one-time fee. When you're done, you have to bring it back. So these are all one-time sales. My goal is to help you put in a system in place where you're going to get monthly recurring revenue so you don't have to have the hustle mentality. So you actually, even if your goal is like $5,000 MRR, we want to make sure that, for example, I'm just going to use $14.97 because that's what I see. So let's just say I'm going to use 10K, right? Oh, that's a 100K. 100K month works for me too. But I'm just going to say 10K. So in order to have 10K, and I think this is like a 1497. So divided by 1497, that means about 7 people every month need to sign up for this particular program. All right. So 7 people need to sign up every single month for 1497 in order to generate $10,000. Now let's just say, is there a next step after the 1497? There is. How much you want to type? How much it is? I just want to. I'm just trying to see something, as they say. I want to see something. So after the 1497, we have a okay 5K. Perfect. Perfect. How long is it? Is it 6 months or 12 months or 90 days? I don't know. All right, so we got 5,000. All right, so 5,000. So I think that's about. Is it 600? Nope, that's a little bit. It's 500. Yep, boom. Well, ask me how I noticed. All right, so watch this. So 6,000, oh, 5,000. Okay, it's 5,000. Oh, perfect example. This is really, really good. So it's 5,000 if they pay in full. Come on, right? It's 5,000 if they pay in full, but over a period of time, if they pay 500 every month for 12 months, it's now $6,000. Yes, we charge interest if you want us to be the payment plan. That's a nugget. So if now we need to see, all right, so let's go back to 10K divided by 500. So you would need 20 people in this program every month to make $10,000 a month. That goes along with your 50. Oops, did I tell 50, 50 at the end of it? So hopefully that helps you to see how can you create consistency in your revenue model, right? So there's your monthly recurring revenue. All right, so this is the 30K audit. And this is kind of where we kind of close out for day one. And then you're going to have homework. So your homework is to assess your business model and where your business is. So we rate from 1 to 5. 1 being no, DeKesha, I don't have them. I know I need them. 5 being yes, DeKesha, I got them, and I am 100% confident in it. Three is in the middle. Okay. So offer clarity. Are you clear on the offer that you are selling to your ideal client? So if someone raised their hand today, if you host it, if I invited you to host a workshop in my city, do you know what you're going to sell at the end of that workshop? 1 being nope. 5 being yes. Yes, ma'am, I do. All right. Then we're going to go down to the bottom. Pricing confidence. Same scenario. If I invited you to Richmond to do a workshop, do you know how much you're going to charge people at the end of your presentation? So I saw 1497. I don't know if I saw any other price points. So 1 being, I have no idea what I want to charge the people that I work with. 5 being, yep, I have my price point. I'm good on it. I'm confident in it. All right. Then we're going to go to lead generation consistency. Not lead generation consistency. Number 1, I don't have leads coming into my business consistently, period. Don't give yourself a 0 because I need a 1, okay? 5, leads coming in every day, every week, consistently. I consistently bring in 10, 15, 20, whatever the number is. But you consistently bring in leads. And when I say bring in leads, I mean that you can go in your CRM, that's a customer relationship management system, relationship management system, CRM. You can go in your system and you can say, oh, 10 leads came in last week. That's a 5. That's a 5. I'll give you a 3 if you like, wait a minute, I spoke and I went to a networking event And I got three cards. That's like a three. I'm gonna give you a three for that one. All right. All right, and then we're gonna go down to the sales process. So again, using the same example, if you come to speak in Richmond, Virginia, how are you going to invite people to come work with you? If they say yes, how do they pay? Hmm. One, I gotta go set up some stuff tonight so I can increase my score by tomorrow. I already have my sales process in place. I will invite them. I'll invite them through a process. They pay, and they'll get their welcome email. Got it? 1 to 5. Y'all got this. Safe space. And I'm gonna be honest. If you don't tell the truth, you only telling the tale to yourself. Because it ain't gonna make or break me. You only hurting yourself if you're not honest with yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay? I'm just telling the truth. So if you here's what I want you to look at it as: tell the truth because we can fix once you identify what needs. Come on, these are the gaps. I told you by the end of the time working, I'm gonna show you gaps in your business, but we can fix them if you identify where the gaps are. Can I get an amen? Amen. Sometimes you got to preach and give yourself an amen. All right, so systems and automation. So this goes back to what I was sharing earlier. So if someone purchased, do you have an automation that goes out? If you are speaking from the stage and you say, here's a free gift that I have for you. Are they going to get 30 days worth of emails after you register, or are they just going to get that one lead magnet email? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If you get a new client, is it going to automatically go out? Do they automatically get the next steps? Or do you got to run to the computer and be like, oh, let me go to Chat GPT and write a welcome email? Mm-mm. That's a one. That's a one, y'all. That's a one. Okay. Um, Even with the money systems, are you tracking your money systems? Are you tracking how much revenue that you've generated every month this year, thus far? Are you tracking what you pay in marketing, coaching? And not to say that you shouldn't, not to say that you shouldn't invest, but you need to know where the money is going. Um, if you got payroll, like I track my payroll every day I come in, I take how many hours they worked and the tasks that they got done, and I run it through the system to see if they were efficient and give me a red flag if somebody ran my clock up. That's how close I'm paying attention to payroll numbers because I have to. Because one of the lessons that and I said I was talking earlier, I was like, you know what, I need to do a podcast on the lessons that I've learned in 2025. One of the lessons that I learned is that when my revenue went down, my payroll stayed the same. And that was a number one lesson in retail is that my DM or my AM or the VP used to call and be like, all right, y'all, we cutting hours. And I would start sending people home. But I didn't do that in my business. I let my team keep the same 20 hours, regardless whether my payroll was going, regardless whether my revenue, we lost the MRR, but my payroll stayed the same. No, never again. We learned these lessons. No, ma'am. We cut hours. All right. So again, offer clarity, pricing confidence, lead gen consistency, sales process, and then systems and automations. I want you to rate yourself 1 to 5, 1 to 5 in each category. So we got the roadmap. How do we implement it? So what we covered today: 30K month formula, pricing, lead gen, sales systems. Um, oh, can I have a few minutes of y'all time? I want to show y'all something. If y'all tell me yes, or I can save it till tomorrow. It's up to you. Let's go. Okay. I got some juice on my iPad. I want to show you different mechanisms and why we use a different mechanism. So let me log in real quick. Let me share this to myself, and then we will really wrap it up. But this is like the best part. This is where aha moments happen. Oops. All right. So let's see. Go over here. Get my little pencil. So, just to let you know, be careful with your if you're like commenting in the chat, it starts to stop sharing. Oh, I stopped sharing. It starts to like right on my screen. Recording in progress. Okay, wait. There we go. Disconnect audio. Oh, it's still sharing my screen. All right, start share. Whiteboard. Continue. All right. Voila. All right, so can we all see? I can't see y'all anymore. You might have to I see Robin. Okay, good. All right. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. So, couple of things when it comes to your conversion mechanisms. So someone, most of you guys know me as webinar. Uh-oh. As a webinar queen. So this is going to be my webinar. Don't judge me. Um, my little drawing is off. All right. Let me make sure it's flat. So most of the time, the price point that works for a webinar, like we said earlier, $497. I'm going to say $19.97. Sometimes you can get away with $2,997 if you have a warm audience. If you have a warm audience, um, you can actually, if you have a warm audience, you can sell up to $2,997. Like I've done it before. Um, we've sold 2997 before. But like I said, when we did, it was definitely based on a warmer audience. All right. And so, but I know for a fact that if you have a colder audience, you can do like anywhere from 497 to 1997. If you have questions about this, don't hesitate to ask. So what happens is when you are, I think somebody had like a 1497. So you can actually get away with a 60 to 90 minute webinar at 1497, right? Because yours falls into here. Now that 5,000, right? So we're going to go from anywhere from 2K to about $40,000. You have to spend more time with the audience. So this could be in person. This is why you see a lot of people do in-person events. This could be a virtual event. It could be 2 hours per day. It could be 6 hours per day. You got some that go from like 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, something like that. But I want you to understand the higher the price point, the more time that you have to spend with your audience. The reason why is the 7, 11, and 4. So, depending on when you guys started your business, a lot of people started their business in COVID. And so what happened was in COVID, the coaching industry is not regulated. So you had a lot of people coming here, and God knows, don't get started with, they had Chat GPT, learn how to do Chat GPT, created these programs. Oh, it was just a mess. So now people are very cautious about the decisions that they make when they spending their money, as they should. Um, and so now you have to have 7 hours. Got it? 7 hours of content. Like they have to consume 7 hours of your content. So I'm going to slide this over just a little bit and I'm going to put content right here. And then these are 11 touch points. So a touch point could be email, SMS, podcast, blog. They saw you on a summit, a workshop, 11 touch points. And so if a person doesn't purchase on the first conversation, you very well could, you may have not had enough touch points. That's it. That's one of the reasons why when I do my webinars or workshops, I have an email sequence that tells you a little bit about me. It gives you some exercises. Even when we do um our 2-day accelerator. For anyone who joins our 2-day accelerator, I give them pre-work to get them ready. It's touch points. And then they need to see you across 4 different platforms. This could be like Facebook, it could be YouTube, it could be your podcast, it could be LinkedIn. Is this helping anybody? You can type it in the chat, right? So it's 7, 11, and 4. They call it the trust recession, is what they call it. So that goes to right here. This is the hours consumption. So normally when we do our workshops, it might be 2.5 hours. We've spent 5 hours together. But I like to put content in front of people before they get on workshops with me. I love that. I love that this is helpful for you. Absolutely. So you can definitely take a screenshot of that if you want to. I know it's kind of like my I promise you my handwriting is not chicken scrap for in real life. But if you want to take a screenshot just so you can have that and kind of reference back to it, webinars can sell between $4.97 and $19.97 with a we're going to put cold here and then we're going to put warm here. All right. And you guys may or may not be familiar with the fact that warm audience is people that are familiar. So they are familiar with your brand. All right. And then a cold audience are people who are unfamiliar or not aware with your brand. That's the difference. So somebody that's on your email list, they are warm. Somebody that you've been on a DM with, they are warm. Someone that you've had a Zoom call with, they are warm. All right. Someone you've never had a conversation with, they are 100% cold. 100% cold. Got it? The last thing that I want to show you, this is my little secret as to how we fill up our webinars. I teach my team how to do this. Did it move on the screen? I'm looking and I still see, okay, there we go. Let me know, make sure it moved on the screen. And then I'm gonna show you how we fill up our, I see Robin must be coming to the chat. I see her little thing going across the screen. So let's just say, okay, perfect. Let's just say this is the webinar. And we are trying to fill up our webinar with like 60 registrations. So we have an email list. So we're going to email our email list. Let's just say we get 10 people registered from our email list. We also have a Facebook group. I'm helping somebody. Okay. We have 1.8 thousand people in our Facebook group. So we're going to do an event and we're going to invite people from our Facebook group. For the sake of math, I'm going to say we get 10 people to register from our Facebook group. We're going to do the same thing on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I'm going to create an event, not me, but my team will create an event on LinkedIn. Now, we can invite 600, 800 people to an event. We might get, 10 to 15 to register. I'm just kind of keeping these, even. Okay. What else? I also sent out an SMS message. I'm going to say we get 15 from SMS. And only because people have higher response rates when you do an SMS. So they'll respond to an SMS versus email. And then I'm trying to do this without ads in case you guys are not at a place where you're running ads. So we do email, we do SMS, we do LinkedIn, we do Facebook. Oh, you do DM strategy. This is something that we haven't always done, but we have gotten so much better at it now. So this is 30, 40, 50, and 60 registrations. And we do this every single time. So one of the things that I tell my audience, I tell my clients, I'm like, don't tell me that ain't nobody show or you don't have nobody register when I ask you, did you send out an email? Did you do an event? If you have a group, did you create an event in your Facebook group? Did you create an event on LinkedIn? Did you send out an SMS message? Did you do DM strategy? If you tell me no, 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 then that's why you don't have any registrations. And so if 60 people register, 50% will show. That means 30 people will show, especially if you have an SMS reminder. Sorry, that's 30. If you're really for webinars, you can do about 8% close. Does anybody know their close rate? Meaning, if how many people does it take for you to get on the phone before you acquire a new client? Mine differs based on whether it's a live event or a webinar. A virtual workshop, I can do 22%. 30% depending on the follow up. In person, up to 40%, 50%. So 95% is crazy. That's really good. And you have a very unique audience. So that's really, really good. 90%. So that means if you get 10 calls, 9 of them going to close. I love it. So out of these 30 for this webinar, we're going to say 8% word of mouth. Now that is different. So this means that 2 will close, and this means that 3. So if you got an 8% close, 10% close. So I'm glad that you said that, Odette, because 95% word of mouth. I love that because that takes all of this pressure right here, the 7, 11, and the 4. That takes all of that pressure out because they're coming to you vetted. The referral has already vetted them for you. So if you have a cold audience, I would love to know what your closing rate is for a cold audience. So I'm glad that you said, but I'm word of mouth. I'm really glad that you pointed that out. Because I don't want people to be thinking, well, she got 95%, let's not have 95%. What am I doing wrong? If you are highly based off of word of mouth, that's a very, very, very great point. And again, while we started implementing referral marketing, which can be added down here too. You know, referrals. We have an affiliate program. So referral marketing. One of our last workshops, one of our referral partners sent out an email blast and sent several people to our workshop. So I just wanted to walk you guys through this one. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And then as we wrap up, any questions that you have for as we complete day 1? All right, any questions before we close out? Let me go ahead and turn this on. I can actually have it set up so you can receive the replay if you want to. We don't normally do it, but yes, I can. I definitely will. I know it's a lot of information. It's a lot of information. Yes, I see a question.
Just real quick, in the beginning, you talked about a webinar challenge, which was 5 days, and you said a webinar at the end.
Yep.
What was the setup for that? I was a little confused
So
by that.
we did a 5-day challenge, and every day there was an exercise for them. Um, like there was an assignment every day that they did. Um, and on the 5th day, the assignment was to register for the webinar. And then I did my regular webinar. That was a 60-minute webinar presentation, and I invited them to come to the presentation. And so that's how we converted them into clients. So tomorrow we'll talk about some of the strategies or some of the conversion mechanisms that you can use in your business. I think tomorrow we'll talk about the 4 different types, and we'll review your assessments as well. I'm so glad that you were able to get the link too. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't sure. We when we started, we had some people that had a hard time getting the link, but I'm glad that everyone was able to make it. I will try my best to get you guys the replay, and hopefully tomorrow the link will be better. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to keep the same link for tomorrow. No need to complicate everything, and so we'll keep the same link for tomorrow. Sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for playing full out with me this afternoon. Look forward to seeing you for day 2. Have a great evening. All right. Take care.